CPS is supposed to do its job. These people don't want to talk to us, okay? I'm telling you, if you're watching this show, or you know Platkin, or you know Gallucci, or you know Smith and Kim, I mean, they're the politicians. Them, I could go either way. Howell, Wolf, if you think you're not going to have to answer questions about this, you are dead wrong, okay? I'm telling you, this is going to happen. If you want to come on and discuss, I would love that, and I will treat you with respect. If you do not, you are not going to avoid answering for this. That's all I'll say. All right, now, the mother, Breanna Micciolo, shared custody with Gregor. Now, part of the problem was Micciolo is an addict, and because of that, they gave deference to the parent who wasn't. Little did they know, or should they have known, that the parent who wasn't an addict was actually something worse, known as a monster. The mother, who's an addict, made reports to New Jersey's Child Welfare Agency more than 100 times over a year and a half. No one did a thing. Why? Okay? That's why we got to get the answers. And if they're not going to talk to us, then we're going to force it. That's just the way it is. That's the job. Now, I want to bring in Jessica Pryce. She is the author of Broken: Transforming Child Protective Services, Notes of a Former Caseworker. Jessica, it's great to have you. And I just want to say from the top, you guys are the angels among us. You know, social workers and caseworkers and people who do intervention to help kids. You see the worst of us on a daily basis, and your work should be celebrated. That's why it's so horrible to see when a kid like this is just ignored by the system. What's your take on what you understand about this?
Hi, Chris. Thanks for having me. The first thing I'll say is this is such a stunning case. It's horrific, and he deserved better. And as a former caseworker, I can't overstate how complex the job is. So thank you for stating what you just did. It is difficult. But even with the difficulties of the job, we have to take accountability for what happened in this case. I've been mulling it over for weeks, just like you have, trying to figure out how we missed the ball. And what keeps coming to mind, Chris, is when I was in the field, there was this line between the family court and CPS. And again, do I know definitively if that's the reason? No. But I know that CPS often wants to avert risk. They want to say, hey, that's not my territory. Talk to the judge, talk to your attorneys. But I want CPS to realize that we can't do child safety alone, but we have to set the tone. We've got to be the leader because we're the experts in how do we keep kids safe. And as you know, we're good about overreaching in the lives of families that may not need the level of surveillance.
I'm well aware.
But then now we're underreaching, and it's
so. Let's look at the why, though, Jessica. In this particular case, as the facts present themselves to you, as we're learning about them, 100 times. To me, it's got to be, what was it? Because she's an addict? You know what I mean? Is it that she was seen as not credible? That, you know, maybe they took a look at the dad and took a look at her and said, oh, this is what she's trying to do. She's trying to get the kid back. But she said she was showing pictures and stuff of the kid's injuries. So 100 times, how do you explain that never registering, at least with a home visit of just a look at the kid?
So I don't think I'm going to be able to find an answer to that because it's egregious to ignore that many calls. But I will say that you're well aware of the turnover in the workforce. I don't know the span of time that those calls came in. Mm-hmm. If we're trying to find some ways that it could have been missed, it could be caseworkers coming in and out, vacillating, bringing new people in, and it falling through the cracks. The workforce crisis is so vast and intractable with child welfare right now. So that came to mind. And back to what you said, unfortunately, implicit bias plays a big role in this. That part of all of us that knows the past of a person and dismisses them as credible. And I talk about this a lot, particularly with folks that are economically marginalized and also racially marginalized. Mm-hmm. I don't know the socioeconomic, wave between her and the child's father, but sometimes we have this level of bias toward parents to say, oh, she's not credible, and we're going to stick and keep the child with the dad.
And look, we hear that the dad lived in a nice house and all that stuff, but I'm just saying, I know so many good families, and so do you, and I know so many poor people who've had wildly similar experiences, which is somebody doesn't like you, they call you up and say, hey, that Jessica Pryce, I heard that she likes to swing a bat at her kid's head whenever he doesn't do his homework. Even if I've never met you before, someone's coming to your house, and they're coming with a cop. Here, 100 times, she says the guy's abusing my kid. Never went. Don't you think that these people should stop ducking my answers, my questions, and answer for why they did this, the people who run in the agency?
Absolutely. I believe that they need to be transparent. They need to be accountable. As I shared, I played a big role in even doing some training in New Jersey, and they are very intentional about revamping the system. So to your point, I do hope they talk to you and explain how this might have happened.
Hey, thank you for watching. Please go to newsnationnow.com, newsnationnow.com, and you can find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button down below. Then you will get more of NewsNation's fact-driven coverage.